Hi guys, and welcome to How Many Books Can I Finish Listening To as I catch up on 6 months. 6 months worth of reading journaling because there's a lot going on right now and I just want to go ahead and get crafty. So we're gonna go do that together, listen to a bunch of audiobooks, and let's just directly get into probably one of the most fun reading vlogs ever. Now, I think in the later half of December last year, if anyone watched my Bookmas video, I was setting up this book to actually be my reading journal for this year, except I haven't gone back not even once to go ahead and update it, which is why in this video, we're going to try to see how many books I can listen to as I go ahead and update all my reading progress throughout the first half of the year now and kind of catch up on this book because listen, I love getting crafty. I can't wait to get into this because the first time I was doing it for December was so fun, and I have upgraded supplies now. I have this really cool set of markers that I'd really like to try out, which I got recently. So listen, it's gonna be the best time ever. For context now, I did already start with a book yesterday as I was going about starting penciling some things in, but I haven't got a lot of progress on it yet. So I'm gonna go keep listening to that. I'll go continue with this book and I'll come see you guys hopefully in a bit once I have more progress made on both to actually come speak about, because that I hadn't really recorded anything. I just wanted to wait until I had my intro filmed out. So I'm gonna go do that now. I'll see you guys hopefully in a little bit with more updates. But yeah, so far it's going really good because I'm enjoying my book, I'm enjoying what I'm doing for this, and see you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, so it's only a little bit later, but I have gone ahead and made some more progress on my book and on the journal, so I wanted to come really just quickly speak about those two before I go finish my book out and some journal progress. So here we are now to come speak about the only one left, which is a Riley Sager book I've picked up. I think it's the one from last year. So summary time. Essentially, there's this really popular school poem chant or whatever about these murders that took place back in 1929, and it's like this urban legend, but it's actually something that happened back in the day. So essentially, these murders consist of this really popular Hope family who are extremely rich, extremely wealthy. They live in this whole mansion on the other side of the sea by themselves, except one day, as it turns out, everyone in their family is brutally massacred except their 17-year-old daughter Lenora Hope. So the dad is gone, the mom is gone, the younger sister is gone, only Lenora survives, and thanks to that the police think that's enough to get her convicted for their murders because she looks to be the one who's guilty and the one responsible, except the only thing she's got going in her favor is that she's denying it and they don't have any proof. So she's let go. They can't really charge anything to her, they can't stick with anything because they don't have the evidence, and so as soon as she's let go from whatever, she ends up going back to her mansion where all her family was murdered, and now she's never seen again after that. She kind of confines herself back inside the mansion, never leaves, never seen by anyone, can't really go out in the public because their opinion towards her is so skewed in the sense that everyone thinks she was responsible for that brutal night and she can't do much about it, so she's stuck at home. Fast forward 50 years, we are now set in the timeline of 1983, which is present day in the book, and we have kind of like this nurse caretaker woman called Kit who recently is brought back from suspension to her job thanks to stuff she did in the past or whatever, and now since she's called back, she kind of has to be taught a lesson by her boss, which is why she's kind of sent to kind of be Lenora's caretaker. So all these 50 years later, as it turns out, when Kit goes to the whole mansion, the house is crumbling, everything's falling down, everything's decaying and falling apart, and Lenora Hope, the woman who everyone thought was responsible for her family, is now mute and living the life of an invalid. She kind of needs Kit's help to kind of navigate through every day until she passes away, which is why Kit ends up enlisting on their team or whatever as the caretaker, except as all of that happens, Kit starts uncovering some stuff that makes her realize that maybe the whole staying on and looking after Lenora thing is dangerous to Kit's own personal individual life because there's a lot adding up in the background and in the past, and now she's worried for her safety. That is because there's some brutally honest stuff that shows up from her previous predecessor. So the nurse who was looking after Lenora before Kit, so there's some stuff in the background that comes up about her, and then not just that, Lenora herself, she can't really move, she can't really speak or whatever, but she does have the ability to move her left hand. So she's got this typewriter wherein one day she ends up telling Kit that, listen, I want to tell you everything, and so she starts typing her story out on the typewriter, but also as Kit starts discovering details about the previous nurse for her, she finds out that Lenora told that nurse the same story that maybe got the nurse in a really tragic end, and now Kit doesn't want to meet that as well. So there's a lot going on. Basically, you're trying to figure out who was responsible for the murders back in the day, but also what happened in present timeline, and it's a really gloomy book. I feel like the atmospheric vibes are perfect, but also the main character feels really stupid. You know the main character in like a horror movie wherein you're just telling them, listen, it's not worth it, run away, leave, just don't stay in that house. she's basically the main character here. With Riley Sager's books, I've noticed they're very manipulative and gaslighting, and like I really didn't enjoy the one I read by him called Survive the Night a couple weeks ago, but this one I'm really liking the manipulation in it, except the only thing I don't like about both of his books is how stupid he makes the main characters. Like genuinely, she's just so dumb. Leave, walk out while you can, but no, she's staying on for the mystery. So stay on, do whatever you can, get yourself murdered. Listen, I'm not even responsible. That's where we're at, but I'm gonna go keep reading. I'm at 60% now, and so far it's a good time. I'm trying to have my, theories in place, but also there's a lot going on for me to keep up, so I don't know how it'll go, but I'll see you guys once I have progress on that. And now progress on the journal before anyone starts to judge me. I did nothing in this specifically. So now, if you watch the first original Bookmas video, I didn't have printouts back then for all the book covers I wanted pasted in this, and so because I was on vacation back then and I didn't know where to get the printouts from, since I didn't have like a printer at home that I'd print and just take it with me on vacation and work there, I said I'd come back home and work it out. Except now, as I'm back home, like I said, I don't have a printer at home, and yesterday I spent all of it kind of working on getting my printouts in place. As it turns out, the department store that we have near us, my grandma decided that as she was going out on errands or whatever, she'd pick my prints for me. Their color printer isn't working, so in a couple hours again, when she ends up going, she'll get my printouts, and then you'll see the progress I made, because I had to painstakingly sit out and edit out like about 100 different photos, again book covers, to actually add in this and size them the way I want it. And so once she gets the printouts, you'll see the way that turned out. But that's literally what I've been doing for the past, I don't even know how long, and that's how much I've listened to the book off while doing. So once I get my printouts, once the department store's printer starts working again, I'll see you guys then and show you how much progress I've made. But until then, now I'm gonna go back to listening to my book, because I'm done with all the printout editing. I just have to go back to penciling some of the other drafts I want to be done or whatever in the journal, and then we can start penning everything out. So I think this book will literally just go in everything getting drafted, but as that happens, once that's over, we can get on to the fun stuff in this video. And so I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit once I have some things made up in this book and I have my printouts in place, and then we can go ahead and continue on and move forward, because it's a bit of a setback, but also it's not that bad because it's gonna work the printer, they said, in like a couple hours anyway, and so I'm not really terrified. We'll get on with it, we'll see, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. I went ahead and I finished the book. So now for updates about The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I have quite some thoughts, but can I quickly just say, before anything, I'm confused as hell because I guessed a couple of things. Everyone's lying, so you cannot really trust anyone, and the main character is really stupid, so you have to figure everything out for yourself. But I feel like the ending, it was very, I don't know, just confusing to me because there's a lot going on. And I will say there's a lot of shocking bits to this book, but mainly I feel like the confusion factor overtook the shock for me to the point where I'm still trying to figure out what actually went down towards the end. And so it was really good, but overall it was very twisty, and I feel like it was very unrealistic, because at this point, whenever you're thrown in with so many plot twists, the numbness kind of overtakes you, and then suddenly the plot twists just don't plot twist anymore because you're not feeling any of them. I don't know if any of that made sense, but essentially it went crazy at the end and it was really good, do not get me wrong, but I'm still confused about a couple of things, which is why I'm probably going to rate this book, I think 3.5 stars, which is not a bad rating. I had so much of a better time than I did with the other book I read by him, and I definitely will go back to read some more of his backlist. But I didn't have the best of the best times. Like, it's really good if you want to read it like a fall thriller. I don't really know what I have my complaints with essentially about this book. It's just there were a couple of things at the end that maybe were a bit too outrageous for me to believe, and so 3.5 stars. I have gone ahead and penciled out literally every single draft I want for every month. So like every book I read in every month, author, title and star rating, I have everything penciled in, which means now whatever book I end up starting next, which I'm still in the mood for a thriller, I'll get to that. But whatever I end up starting, I can kind of listen to as I finally start penning things down, and once my grandma gets the printouts in like an hour or so, we can kind of cut them and start pasting and kind of getting craftsy with it. So we're getting into the good part of the video now. I can't wait, and so I'll go look at my TBR, kind of pick something better out hopefully now that actually has me. And so if you've got thriller recommendations, even though I cannot see them in real time, comment, because I'm in the mood currently for the past week or so for the best kind of thrillers ever, and hopefully I'll get to them. But now I'll go pick something from my TBR to kind of listen to as I go ahead and start penning things down in this while we're waiting on the printouts. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so it's been I don't even know how many days since the last time I came in and spoke in this specific video, but the thing is I've been extremely busy with my driving lessons and then something went wrong and we had a setback in this video. So now to catch you up on everything, at this point I have gone ahead and got my prints. They did come out a little bit tiny, but I feel like that's perfect because they need to kind of fit on the page. So if anyone wants to go ahead and get them done as well, because I found nowhere telling me what specific size you should put in. On Word I was just putting in 3 for the length and then that's just the way it was going by itself. I believe this much was like 2 or something like that centimeters, and that's how it went. So I have quite a few crammed on a page and I had them somewhat organized, but then at the same time there are a couple books here that I didn't give 5 stars. They're just on here because at the very end of it I was just cramming in the photos. So now while I do have everything, I still need to go back and organize all my photos because like I said, it's gone a little crazy, it's gone a little wild with these. But now for story time, because no one really cares but I want to give it anyway. You know how I came in and told you the last time that the Word doc is literally ready, we're just waiting on the department store's printer? Yeah, guess what? When I went to go resend it so they could print it, when their printer came back in or whatever, I called the maintenance guy and he says it's working and everything. Guess freaking what? For some reason my document wasn't getting uploaded to my mails, and so I had to go back and look at the document to actually wonder what's gone wrong. Guess what? I don't know how this happened. It was a corrupted file. What did I do wrong? If you're like a computer nerd watching, if you're like really savvy at it or something like that, you don't owe me obviously, but like please go ahead and comment and tell me what I did wrong, because I don't want this to repeat again. So my document, the entire thing was corrupted. I just couldn't send the file over, which is why I had to go back, resave the whole thing out, re-add my photos, redo everything, which means all of this, I worked twice as hard to get it, and finally now that I do feel somewhat accomplished, but also at the same time it feels like a genuine waste of time because I spent maybe 4 hours getting all of this done, which is crazy. Who knew printouts would take that long? But here we are now. I have gone ahead and penciled another couple extra drafts in this, but now we can finally go start penning things out, and I just wanted to show these on camera before I go ahead and start cutting and pasting, because now we've reached the fun part of this video. So excited. I have my markers out already. I've been eyeing them for so long now, and now I can finally start using them. But that's the update. So it took me twice as long, and the span of that I started listening to another audiobook, which now I'm nearly done with. That is actually crazy. And before anyone comes and says, oh, you're not actually listening to the books, keep in mind I listen to them on 4x speed, and audiobooks are generally like 10 hours long, which means I'm finishing them in off like about 2.5 hours, which kind of does check out with this. But also I know it's a little crazy, the speed. I don't even know what to do about it, but I did end up starting a new book, and we can come speak about that before now I continue listening to the book, finish it out hopefully tonight, and then continue with my journaling, because the book isn't very good and it's putting me off from the whole experience. But then hopefully the next one will be better, which means we kind of need to buck up and finish this one fast so I can get to the next one. Basically the new audiobook that I started is called The Hunting Wives, and it's very interesting, the premise. That's the whole reason I picked it up, because I saw it on one person's channel and I was just like, listen, it's got me. Essentially it follows this woman called Sophie. She's like a wife, but also she has like a great career and she's got other things going on in her life, except it's very hectic. So she decides she's gonna move out of the city, leave it all behind, and move to this like quiet, I guess, countryside small town, which is idyllic and kind of perfect and giving her all the slow life kind of vibes she wants. So she moves into the small town with her husband and her young son Jack, and they end up basically kind of trying to pick up life, the pace of it, from where they left off. But now Sophie's left bored, because back in the city she had all this hustle bustle, you know, a high-powered job that she really needs to get to, and here in the country she's left it all behind for a slower life, and now she's actually not really enjoying a slower life because it's too boring, there's nothing happening. So one day she ends up meeting one of the socialites in the small town called Margot, and she starts developing this unhealthy obsession with her, and soon she starts getting involved in Margot's clique. So now Margot actually has this secret group of other socialite wives or whatever who are also kind of bored with their lives, so they kind of do this stuff to actually spice things up, and Sophie now gets part of that club. It's called The Hunting Wives, which is why the book is literally called that. And so basically what these women do is they meet up in Margot's like cabin or whatever. They end up going shooting, target practice, gun, whatever. Clearly I have no idea what I'm talking about. But then they also go to bars and they end up cheating on their husbands, again just for some fun, which I'm sorry, cheating is never fun, but okay, fine. And overall just doing a bunch of dangerous shit to kind of add that thrill, excitement to their lives, because that's what's lacking in them. And as all of this is going on, Sophie slowly starts kind of getting obsessed and involved in their scandalous lives, and kind of starting to do that even though her subconscious is telling her not to, because she's not that kind of person. But slowly you watch as her circle, the new one now, the Hunting Wives, they start influencing her into getting involved with all of this stuff or whatever. Except one day The dead body of a teenage girl is found in the woods, and suddenly Sophie's life is turned on its end. Suddenly, she's being blamed for the whole murder investigation or whatever. She is now the prime target, the prime suspect, and this is where it goes off from. It's very interesting, the pacing of this book, because the way it sounds, it's so interesting. It's definitely something I'd pick up any day. But the way it's paced, I'm not even joking, 70% of them is literally just you hating on these vibes and the stuff they're doing, because it's, not even gonna lie, feels a lot like midlife crisis. And so all of the stuff that's going on right now, I'm just like, okay, but where's the fun stuff? So 70% of the book is potentially just wasted on you kind of watching them and hating everything that goes on with them, because they're really annoying, they're very insufferable, they're just so frustrating to read about because nothing's really going on and you are expected to actually enjoy that. But also I feel like much is going on because most of it is already told in the Goodreads summary, and so as you go along with it, there's like nothing shocking going on. They're just being horrible people overall, and then once the murder stuff starts, that's when it truly starts to pick up. But then also when that comes in, you actually see how much of a bad person Sophie is from the beginning of the book till now, and how much worse she's gotten. And suddenly whatever's happening to her, like genuinely, I don't even care. I actually thought she got it coming. She deserved it because she was being truly terrible to the people actually that mattered around her. And so when she actually got it coming, I don't even care anymore, which probably that's not the point. You need to sympathize with the main character, but I'm not able to at the moment. So I'm gonna continue reading, see where the murder investigation goes now, because it's genuinely picked up. But I wish I could talk about the last couple times when I picked this book up and I realized I was still reading it, and then my face literally fell because I'm genuinely having the worst time of my life. I can't wait for this to be over because it's so boring, genuinely. I'm just so ready to be done. So I'm gonna go do that. There's literally nothing going on right now, but I will still go finish it out so we can, review it in the video, and then I'll continue with my journaling stuff, which is the whole reason I've been put off from continuing this in the past couple of days, because I just don't care about my book. But once I'm done, hopefully we will find something better, because I have my fingers crossed, and we'll see how that goes. But essentially now I'm gonna continue. Maybe I'll start cutting up these photos because there's a bunch, and the one mistake I made with all of these is that I didn't really leave gaps in the middle. So next time I know I need to press my enter key more, because like look at that, how am I supposed to cut that? But I'll go figure it out now. It's gonna take longer to cut all of this, but we'll see how that goes, and I'll come update you once I do. But yeah, hopefully the book I have left right now, how much ever, that should be enough to get cutting, and then maybe I'll start a new book. But regardless, I'll see you hopefully now tomorrow when I have more updates, when I have the stuff cut up actually, because now we're getting to the fun stuff, and now we can hopefully skip past this book really quick because I'm hating every second. See you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, so I believe it's been a couple days since my last update to you, but personally I've been recording too many vlogs at the same time, so I'm getting confused with the timeline of events, which is why it's been a couple days, that's all I'll say, because I don't actually remember the last time I came and spoke. But I was reading The Hunting Wives then, and I just finished, so I figured I'd give you my final thoughts on it, because I did give a summary, I just didn't give thoughts. And in the midst of all of this, I've been cutting my pictures non-stop. At this point, it's gonna take me a whole audiobook just to cut my photos, because I screwed myself over big time by not adding gaps in it. I didn't really realize I had to, so while that mistake is definitely catalogued in my mind for me to not repeat it next time around, this time I'm suffering and it's gonna take so long. So I'm gonna go get back to cutting my photos, but as I was cutting right now, I managed to finish listening to the audiobook, and here's my final thoughts. The main character, she is so stupid from the get-go. Genuinely, she's like the person in like a horror movie. I said the same thing for the previous book, wherein you're telling that person to not make that stupid ass mistake, and you're yelling at the screen, but they're still gonna do it anyway for entertainment value. Except this book was so slow that there was nothing entertaining about it. The whole gun situation that happened with their guns, take one of those and genuinely off me with it, because I'd rather die than have to even think about the fact that I've already read this book and I hated every second of it. I'm never taking recommendations again online, because truly I was messed over again big time with this book, because I was bored from the very beginning. I was hating every second. I feel like I'm in a mini reading slump at this point, which is not great, because listen, I don't want to be in a reading slump right now. This is the time of the year I want to enjoy reading in the sunshine, and I can't now because this book put me in that. And then not just that, the kind of Hunting Wives group that she's involving herself with, from the get-go you kind of do realize that they're like the mean girls essentially, and they're all really horrible people. And so from the get-go, there's nothing that has you rooting for anyone specifically, because she's stupid, they're insufferable, you hate everyone. And so what's the point of the book? Because you're not sympathizing with even one character at this point when Sophie gets what she gets coming. Truly, she's been a horrible person along with that group, and so I don't even care that her life was spinning out of control. I actually thought she deserved it, and it wasn't even like out of control. It got back in control in no time, so there was no like scandal or drama. I feel like it was just drawn out for no reason and dragged out unnecessarily. And then the whole murder mystery plotline, I wish I was joking, but as soon as we were told a specific person was murdered and someone was being pinned for it, I wish I was joking. Like I said, I guessed it. From the very get-go, I thought maybe it would be somewhat crazy if this person was the one responsible, and that very person was. Because it's kind of obvious with the clues that are laid out. So if you really focus, I feel like you could get it, and I did get it, and I hated every second. So I'm gonna say 2.5 stars, and we're moving on, never to talk about this book again, because it wasn't the best for me. I hated my experience of reading it, and so I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go get back to cutting my photos. This time maybe switch over to like a romance book or something, because clearly mystery thrillers aren't doing it for me right now, but we shall see. I'm praying and crossing my fingers so hard that I don't fall into a really bad slump, because if that happens, I will genuinely be so mad and I'm not in the mood for it. So I'm gonna go get back to reading. I'm gonna go back to my photos now. My hand hurts, but it's time to still get back into it. So I'm gonna go do that, and hopefully by the next time I come, I actually have some decent progress made on the journal, because all these times I feel like I'm just prepping for the journal. There's nothing actually happening with regards to it, and I definitely want to start filling out some spreads now, because that's what's probably going to be the most exciting part of this video. So I'm going to go do that. I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, this is the face of someone who is gonna come and say, it's been 2 weeks since my last update to this vlog. Do not yell at me. I have been extremely busy with college and like assignments that they're giving, and the commute. It takes me 1 hour to reach and 1 hour to come back if there's no traffic, and so all of that's killing me. And then apart from that, I have like driving lessons in the evening. Sometimes I'm gonna go visit a friend or whatever, because listen, I want a social life as well. And so in the midst of all of that, do not get me wrong, I love recording these videos. It's my passion project, genuinely the best time of my life. So it sucks that I'm not getting the time to do this right now, but I'm back here again to kind of continue recording and kind of listen to my books out, kind of continue on my journal, because I have the best time. Do not get me wrong, this is like actual therapy for me. It's so relaxing, it's so comforting. I literally just love curling up with my craft supplies, AirPods plugged in, listening to my audiobook and having the best time immersed in my story, which is why here I am now. I did start like another book. I'm only like 7% through it, a couple chapters or so in, which is why I still have to go make progress before I talk to you about it. But I just wanted to come in and say, now I'm back for the video, and now we're actually going to lock in and continue, because it's the weekend and we're definitely getting some spreads ready. So I have all my pictures nearly cut out. I have to cut them to their exact shape, but they're all roughly done, thankfully, because there were like, I don't know, 100, 200 easy, and maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I'm not, but here we are. It's taken a little bit, but we finally got to this point, and I'm so happy that we have, because now it's finally time to immerse myself back in this vlog. So I just wanted to update that I'm back here now to actually continue recording and seeing how it goes, and that's what I'm gonna do now. So as I work on the spreads, I'll give you like a rough draft of what it looks like before, and then like an after fair draft clip or whatever, so you guys can see how the progress is going so far. But so far I'm so excited. I'm gonna go back to working on my spreads, come speak to you about my book in a few minutes or so, and yeah, that's how it's going. It's going good so far, and I'm so happy and pumped to be back, which is why this is the mini update kind of saying so I'm gonna go do that now and see you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay, I'm back to come speak about my book, because I've got quite a bit of progress in at the moment. Spent the last couple hours just listening and chilling. But before I do any of that, I will again put spread updates as I go along with it. So far, I don't have a single spread complete, which is why this video is looking really bleak at the moment, which is why it'll happen soon. I'm slowly getting to it. I'm trying to pencil everything down and actually figure out stuff I want forever, because this, I've wanted to be my reading journal till like I run out, so the next couple years at least, which is why the perfectionist in me really wants to slay with it, which is why it's gonna happen, and it's happening at the moment. It's just really slow, the progress, which is why hopefully you'll see some more updates on the spreads, I guess, after this clip. But I have been listening to the book in the background as I go along with all of it, kind of looking up ideas on Pinterest, and then, you know, analyzing which one I want and whatever. And in the midst of all of that, because I listen on a god-awful speed, 4x, that's how bad my attention span is, I managed to get through quite a bit of Collide. So it's like a hockey sports romance. It's my second one, because I read Mile High recently, and while I didn't have the best time with that, I really like the whole sports romance vibes, which is why I'm back here for more. I don't really know if it's my first or second or whatever, like confirmed, because I don't really remember, but I do believe it is, because I don't actually remember in recent memory at least having read one of these kind of books. So here we are now to kind of speak about Collide. I haven't finished it yet. I still have, I don't even know how many hours left on it, but I do have quite a bit, which is why it's going good. But I wanted to come give you an update about the book specifically now, just like a quick summary before I probably go finish it out, because I don't want it to be in one sitting or whatever. So this book essentially essentially follows this girl called Summer Preston. She kind of wants to become a sports psychologist, so for some reason she needs some sort of thesis in going forward with studies or whatever, which is why she's kind of working on this whole ass experiment at the moment to kind of figure some stuff out about athletes and stuff. Except as she goes to her thesis advisor or whatever to kind of get approval for it, she kind of gets rejected, and she gets told that she needs to try a little harder and maybe achieve a little more in her thesis, because the place she wants to get into, it takes only the best of the best, and she needs something that actually blows the water out of the park. That makes no sense, but she basically needs something crazy. So now she needs to work twice as hard. She needs to add more studies and research, which is why suddenly she needs to go find some athlete or someone to actually help with the studies that she can interview and kind of run test questions by and kind of act as her subject in her study. And so now that's her dilemma. On the other hand, we have Aiden Crawford, who's like, I believe, the star hockey player, captain of that team or whatever, of that college, and honestly, he's the golden boy of campus. Everyone loves him, everyone's obsessed with him, except he has a very reckless lifestyle with girls and partying and all of that actually one day gets him into trouble with his coach. So now suddenly, because he's being told that, listen, him and his teammates, because it was his teammates' mistake, but he's like the dad of the group, so he took it on him, because he was told they aren't taking shit seriously and they need to buck up because they are being drafted for the NHL or whatever. He needs to kind of take responsibility, and suddenly he needs to give in community service to kind of make up for his mistakes. Except now for the community service, he's actually made to be paired with this girl who needs research for her project, Q and Summer. And so suddenly both of these people are thrust into this world where neither of them wants to be there. Summer hates hockey players, especially because of something that's happened in her past, and so she just wants to stay away from them. She honestly doesn't want to look for anything beyond. Forget all of that, she just doesn't want to be near him. And then him, on the other hand, he thinks she's the uptight girl or whatever, and he just wants to get back to his life. He doesn't want to be part of some charity project, or at least he doesn't want to give an hours into something he doesn't want to and probably won't enjoy. Except as they start to spend more time, I guess, in this forced proximity situation out of necessity together, listen, they're starting to fall for each other, and suddenly they're wondering if everything is supposed to go as per plan or whatever, because that wasn't really something they decided. But for my thoughts specifically so far on this book, they, I feel like, have a really toxic relationship. I don't know if I will stand with the same thing once I'm done with the book or whatever, if my thoughts will stay the same, but I do believe, at least at the point where I am at right now, after the book gets over, they're probably the kind of couple who I don't see staying together in the long run. They're definitely going to break up, because Aiden, don't get me wrong, I'm obsessed with him. He is so down bad for her. It's actually so adorable. But I get that she has trauma and, PTSD and stuff from her past, but I don't know, the whole push and pull, she's just not as invested as him in the relationship, and the whole, I don't know, just the way she's being right now, it's kind of insufferable and frustrating, and she's got her reasons, don't get me wrong. I'm not, undermining any of that. I'm just saying that the way it's carried out so far in the book, the way she's just not interested and she's not coming across as invested as him, that's kind of pissing me off, because he's so down bad. You actually see him planning ahead and like looking to be the best person he can be for her, and she's just like running away every single time. And like, I get it, that's the point of the book, but also we are so far in at this point that I'd like to see some sort of character development where suddenly she's not running as much anymore, and I'm not seeing that right now. So the connection, at least right now, is very skewed and toxic in my opinion, and we'll see how it goes. But so far, not having the best time. It is also longer. I feel like it's like a 400-page book, that isn't very long, but also I feel like most romances end at the 300-page mark and they still feel fine. This one specifically, maybe it should have ended sooner, because now I just feel like it's dragging. It's this whole push and pull situation, which is not the best, at least at the moment. But if you're looking for something specifically with the jealousy trope, this is your book, because we've had the jealousy trope come in, at least from his end, at least 6 times at this point, and so I'm eating that shit up. Do not get me wrong, I'm eating up the hockey stuff, I'm eating up his like side roomy characters or whatever in the hockey team, because I'm obsessed. I'm definitely continuing the series. I have so many favorite characters that I can't wait to read their books off. It's just that this book specifically feels like such a miss for me, and I was really hoping it would be like a hit or whatever, because online people are obsessed. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I got scammed into thinking a book is great when really it isn't, in my opinion, again. But we'll see how that happens. I'm going to go continue listening, and hopefully by the time I'm back again, I'll be done with at least half the spreads, because again, I'm going very deep into my planning, and hopefully execution will turn out alright, because so far I've gone and scrapped so many things I already did, and maybe it's getting annoying, which is why I'm just going to buck up and actually make the spreads now. So see you guys in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, so I believe it's the next day now, though I'm not actually sure when I last recorded. Here's why I'm blanking on days, because there's a lot going on, but I wanted to come in and record like half an hour ago because I placed my order for some food we were calling in. Me and my granddad were having pizza. My little sister, she's called for McDonald's, and so I was quickly just thinking I will come give like a 5-minute update and then I'll wait on the food to come and then I can go eat. They're so damn fast with it these days, because usually back in the day I used to wait for so long, and me saying back in the day is like not a reference to 10 years ago, but it is in the near past, I guess, and it wasn't as quick as it was today. So I just wanted to say that because it's raining outside, but they're so iconic, they were all so nice, and you know, the food came in now. So now my goal is to kind of give you a 5-minute quick update before I go eat my food while it's still hot, which is why here we are, because right after food I want to jump back into the journal, get back into crafting, because I'm having the time of my life, and I finished one spread already. I'll show it to you in B-roll. But for now, book updates. I ended up finishing out Collide. I believe I gave you a summary yesterday, so I'm just giving you like final thoughts or whatever, and then we can end this, and then I'll have dinner, and then I'll continue, and then maybe come catch up tomorrow. But basically, Collide specifically, now that I finished it, I don't know if it's like 2.5 stars or 3. I have my final rating on screen because it had its moments, do not get me wrong. Aiden was so sweet, but I feel like Summer, the girl, she had one foot out the door in the relationship from the very beginning, and it just wasn't my thing, because this was like very much a cookie cutter hockey romance. Everyone's just like sweet and wholesome, and like the, you know, iconic side funny characters or whatever, and then the sweet main male lead, and then the female girl, you know, she's suffering with like trauma or whatever, but then slowly she starts to overcome it with him or whatever, and like it makes sense. But also the way it's carried out is just so cliched, because I get that, you know, she's had stuff happen to her in the past that maybe doesn't let her trust athletes anymore, and I understand that he's, you know, bringing her out of her shell, but I feel like this was just longer than it had to have been, because this was like 400 pages. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it could have been cut short 200 easy. It could have done with such a good editing job, because if it had been, this had such good moments wherein I was literally blushing at the things he said, but because it was so long and dragged out unnecessarily, I just lost interest. And on top of that, there was no third act breakup. Some books, they handle it really well, wherein they don't need a third act breakup essentially, and I really like it that way. There's no miscommunication or other shit, but this one kind of needed it and it didn't have it, because it was just so long and there was no drama. It's just like a basic romance. There's no structure, no plot, it's just vibes. And so if you're into stuff like that, if you're actually looking for something that's like palate cleansery, no brain power, no brain cells required, this is perfect. But also there's truly nothing that happens in it. It doesn't even have like a certain sequence. It's just going all over the place, the flow of it, which is why, you know, maybe it wasn't the best time for me, because I genuinely needed something to actually hook me to the story and keep me engaged. And unfortunately, that because there was no third act breakup that could have added drama and, you know, had me hooked towards the end, listen, I lost interest since like, I don't even know when, but at some point in there, I was just like, listen, I can't wait to be done with this book. So unfortunately, here we are now. I wish I enjoyed this, but now I'm starting to realize that maybe Book Talk has been lying to me about so many books, because every book I've been reading this month and the past month or whatever, all Book Talk recs have gone bad. So if you've got good ones, please leave them in the comments for me, because I need my faith restored in Book Talk, unfortunately. Never thought I'd say that, but you know, I'm happy I read it regardless, because in my journal you will notice on one of the spreads, this is one of the books I wanted to get to out of my 25 books in 2025. So I am getting through that list now. I'm happy I checked this off. But was it worth checking off? I don't know, because it's like a cute swoony romance, but at the same time it just didn't have me, and I'm happy to be done. So even though it's like one of my second like hockey romances, I can't wait to like read more of the sort or whatever, because I do get the hype, but it's just I haven't read the best ones to get into the genre. So again, if you have hockey romance recs, leave them in the comments as well. And also, I can't wait to continue the series, even though I have negative thoughts about the first one now, because I've heard great things about the next one, and I do believe it's about the side characters who I really like. Though one of the side characters I was obsessed with, wish he had more screen time, because he was truly carrying this book. Kian, hopefully he gets his own book as well, because if you've read the book, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And that's all. If he gets his book, I'm reading it the day it comes out, but until then, I will hopefully get to the series in the meantime over the next few months or whatever, as we wait for the next books to come out. And yeah, that's it. Thoughts on Collide definitely did go by faster, but also I was just out of it. So again, you can make up your mind whether you want to read it or not, which is why also I'm unsure whether I want to give it 3 and just call it a mid book, or call it an alright, maybe not so great book in my opinion at least 2.5. So again, final rating should be on screen, but here we are now. I have finished the book. I did end up going out and starting another audiobook. Started the first 10 minutes, but I was so tired at that point because it was like 3 in the morning, which is why yesterday I figured, listen, I'm just gonna give up for now and come back in today, which is why here I am now. I started The Husbands, if anyone cares, and while I don't really know much of plot at the moment, it's very interesting because all of her husbands keep going to the attic and then a new guy comes out. So I'll give you a proper summary once I've read more of it, because I personally just don't know shit right now, but from the first like 10-15 odd minutes, this is what I've understood, and it's a very interesting concept. So hopefully this book will be the saving grace of this video, because so far the books we've read over here maybe aren't doing it for me, and maybe I'm falling into a reading slump. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll see you guys and I'll catch up with you maybe tomorrow now, because I want to go have my dinner and then continue journaling. So see you guys in a bit. This is taking a while, but slowly but surely the spreads are starting to come through, and I'm obsessed. I'm having the time of my life. So bye. Hi guys, so it's now the next evening, nightish I guess you can technically say, because it's late, but I essentially spent all day, I'm not even joking, stuck in that one spot, haven't moved maybe even once at this point, listening to my audiobook and journaling, and it's going so good. I'm having the best time of my life. It's so therapeutic, calming and soothing that I just don't feel like getting up, which is why I managed to finish 4 spreads just like that. So the whole entire video, the last few minutes or whatever, I was struggling to even do one, and now because I've gotten into the groove of things, because everything's literally ready, all I have to do is stick, paste, craft, and then go along with it with marker. I'm 4 spreads in, but I've also gone ahead and managed to listen to halfway of my audiobook, which is why I figured I'd pop in for a quick update before I probably just go sit and finish the rest of it out tonight, because I'm having the best time of my life. And so, summary time for The Husbands. Essentially, this book follows Lauren. She kind of gets back home from this late night out with her friends or whatever. She's at this Hindu party, except when she gets back home, she's greeted at her apartment door by this man called Michael, who claims to be her husband. Except she doesn't really have a husband, so she's wondering who this guy is, where he came from. And as it turns out, she scrolls back on her phone, checks pictures, asks friends, everyone confirms, and even the photos, she's got some from their wedding day. Apparently he actually is her husband. So now she's wondering if she's suffering some sort of delusion, and in the meanwhile he actually ends up going to the attic because he needs to change a light bulb or something, and a different man walks out. So the thing with this is, the concept is every time something happens or whatever, every time one of her husbands goes up to the attic, a different man walks out, and the attic essentially is this magical place almost that kind of swaps out husbands. So she doesn't have one man stay for very long or whatever. It really depends. If she isn't really in the mood to be with the person, she's just gonna ask him to go back up, and a different man comes right out. And slowly now you're starting to wonder, when is this gonna stop? Because the attic is giving out 300 husbands at this point, and it's still going, and now you're starting to wonder what really is the point of the book. Because if it's so easy to just keep swapping out husbands every time you're not happy with the smallest thing someone does, how do you know what you're making, the decisions in your life, are they actually correct or not? Because again, you can swap them out, it's easy as that. And so it's very insightful, it's very twisty, and I'm having a good time. And the best part is, I actually went into this with really low expectations because I haven't seen the best reviews online. But if anyone's read the book The Good Part, I read this last year, and I actually am planning a reread soon, especially thanks to this book. It gives me those vibes, because in both of these books, the main girl or whatever, she's kind of forgotten her life, or she kind of doesn't remember specific bits, and so now looking back, she kind of needs to figure out what's going on. Because in that specifically, she's moved on into the future of her life, she skipped a few years or whatever, and so she knows somewhat details of her life, but she doesn't know the exacts with her husband and her family. And here, she does know her life, but it keeps changing every time she swaps in a husband. So things around her change, people around her, their lives are affected by it, and so it really just comes up to decision making, and I really love that about both books. And so far, I'm actually having a surprisingly good time. It was good going in with low expectations, because I'm not even joking, I'm so obsessed with this book. It's very underhyped, I would like to say, and it's a good time. So I'm gonna go. I'm really liking the storytelling style, which is why I can't really pull myself away from it for very long. Even the writing is really fun and interesting, and I like a couple quotes here and there. Maybe I'll reread it someday to actually go annotate all of it down, but until then, I'm gonna go listen to my audiobook. I'll probably finish it tonight, and then we'll see if I get my journal done as well, because so far I'm going really quick on the updates, and maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the entire video I haven't been finding good books, which is why I wasn't really motivated to journal. But now that I've actually found something I'm really enjoying, I cannot stop, and I'm actually starting to see journaling as fun again. So this is really great. Things have taken a turn for the better, which is why I'm gonna go back to my book. I'll come update you about thoughts and progress later, and then I'll show you what I've done on the journal as well. But for now, so far it's really going so good, and see you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so I finished our book only a little bit ago and I've been thinking my thoughts over it since, thinking what I wanted to come in and say, because my review is so conflicted, which is why it's been a bit, but I have gone ahead and finished The Husbands, and now I think it's like my thoughts time, because I do believe I gave you a summary yesterday, and so I am not really sure what I think about this, because yesterday at about the halfway point I believe I was really enjoying it, but then right after that I don't know what went wrong. It really just went downhill and suddenly I'm not so sure, because I will say from the very beginning there isn't one thing you know about the character that once you end the book you're just like, okay, I know this character, because I feel like in some books there's just such a good connect established with the main character. Here it was so cardboard personality that there's not one thing I could tell you about her life, except this was in this weird third person perspective wherein I was just disconnected from it all, so I didn't really care about her. I didn't feel the inclination to continue reading in the first place after the 50% mark or whatever. I wasn't really staying for her. I just wanted to see where the story would go, and so that's the first thing. I genuinely just didn't even find myself connecting with the girl. I didn't care about her story. I just wanted to see what would finally happen at the end of the book. And the whole thing wherein there's a husband coming every time she's sick of them or whatever, she fought with him, she's just gonna replace him. She doesn't like the way he looks, replace him, whatever and whatever. I will say that got a little monotonous at some point, because I feel like it just kept repeating itself and the same storyline kept going on and on and on, to the point where now I was bored, because after the 50% mark it was happening a bit too much. At some point, she established like a connect with someone and she started falling for him, but the thing is I didn't really see the falling in love part, and then once something happens and he goes away and suddenly he gets replaced. Now I was just wondering where the story is gonna go, because I feel like this genuinely just lacked direction. Like it did speak about specific things that needed to be spoken about, that were insightful, and I will say the magical realism in this was good. I feel like it didn't really have an overall plot structure. It was just the attic thing, and even the attic story felt a little lackluster to me, because there was no like backstory behind it. There was no explanation. Even at the very end of the book I was literally just waiting to see how it would end, who she'd end up with, whatever. It wasn't really romantic, it was just there, and I feel like it doesn't have to be romantic to be a good book. It just needs to be well executed, and the way it happened in the end felt very haphazard, because if you've read the book, I don't know, it just feels like a snap decision at the very end, and maybe I didn't connect with it as much as I thought I was. Maybe I didn't enjoy it. Maybe I would have liked it better if I liked the main character better, but I didn't. So I don't know what I'm gonna say now. Maybe like 3.5 stars, because it was a good time, don't get me wrong. It did have me entertained, but then at some point I did lose interest as well, and I was just waiting to be done with it, because it dragged on for a little bit, and maybe it could have been cut short, maybe the things could have been changed up a little bit, maybe the magical realism could have been a bit more interesting, because I feel like there was just so much going on to the point where she became frustrating at some points, when she's literally just swapping out husbands and the same storyline keeps repeating when a new guy comes in. And so if you want to read it, definitely go ahead, but I don't really know yet if it was for me, because I liked it. I liked some bits, but at the same time the other bits I'm not so sure. So I'm just gonna say let's move on. And now about the journal specifically, I managed to finish another 4 spreads. Look at me, I'm on a roll, except now I'm actually thinking I might stop with this video. I'm gonna go keep doing the spreads off camera. I'm thinking I just might stop reading for it, because I've read 4 books and I feel like at this point I don't know if this video is cursed or what's going on. I haven't found one good read, and if I feel like I keep forcing myself to keep reading right now, at least I'm gonna fall in the worst reading slump or whatever. So I'm thinking right now I might go take a break from reading or whatever, just go listen to some music, maybe like a good podcast as I continue, which is why I will continue. Maybe I'll go listen to some other books for next week's video, because if I don't start recording that, there's gonna be no video next week, which is why I'm gonna go see what I'm doing. But I'm gonna stop reading specifically for this video, because I feel like 4 books is decent enough, and while I didn't enjoy any of them, I think it's like a good place to stop. I will come in maybe in like a week's time though, once I do need to get this video ready to post or whatever, to show you what final progress I've made on the journal, because at this point my goal is to literally finish all that 6 months worth and actually show it to you in this video. So I'm gonna cut it now, the clip, and I'm gonna show you all the updates I have made on the journal. And then now that you've seen all of that, I'll come back in maybe in like a week's time, like I said, and show you whatever more updates I make as I'm listening to other stuff for other videos, and just other stuff in general, taking a break from this video for reading specifically here, because like we've been seeing or whatever, there's quite a theme happening, me not enjoying the books, and I'm not having the best time recording, because I am enjoying the journaling. It's just the reading is dragging me down at the moment at least, so I don't want to fall into a slump, which is why see you guys hopefully in a bit with the journal updates, and there'll be quite a few because I still want to keep doing that, and I will definitely. I have quite the week ahead of me to do so. It's just I am taking a break for reading books, which is why I feel like 4 books is decent enough for this vlog, and then yeah, we'll get journal updates, and that's basically it for the vlog. So see you guys hopefully next week when I come in to, I guess, end the vlog and show you my journal updates. But until then, I have so much to keep going back to, which is why I'm going to go continue, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, so the last time I came in and sat down to kind of record for this vlog, it was June. It is currently September, and so here we are. It's definitely been more than 6 months, and frankly, I'm just gonna say it, I'm absolutely appalled at the concept of time. I just don't understand it. So instead of coming here, sitting down to give you excuses about why it's taken so long, I'm just gonna cut this clip short because I don't want to yap, and it's finally the moment we've all been waiting for. It's now time to show you all the spreads I managed to get up to, catching up with my 6 months, more than 6 months at this point, worth of journaling, and so here they finally are. And now that you've seen them, hopefully they were everything you expected and nothing less, because I know I promised a lot with this video and it's kind of been chaotic and all over the place. So again, I'm so sorry about that. It doesn't even look like a lot of spreads in comparison or whatever, but as someone who's also a college kid at the same time, it definitely is a lot to get through along with my other workload. And so here we are regardless. I did end up reading more books than I would have normally read or whatever while I was getting through these, and they weren't specifically in this video, they were in other vlogs which you have seen, haven't seen at this point, which is why I didn't get through a lot of my TBR. It was a good fun time sitting down, listening to my audiobooks, crafting in the wee hours of the night, and so I don't regret any of this. It's also a great memory I'll have someday once I'm flipping through it in the future and thinking about books I read in the past, but I feel like it was a fun good old time to commemorate the books I'm currently reading as well. And so here we are. Hopefully you guys had a fun time coming along with me watching all of these finally come to life. One thing I will address is probably something you guys might end up asking as well. I did not show any of my wrap-up spreads or the wrap-up pages specifically yet in this video, and that's because number one, I'm still working on them. I have gotten majority of them pinned down. I just have a couple of things I need to be finishing up, and this vlog desperately needs to go out anyway, so it's long overdue. It doesn't really matter if it goes with or without those. Number two, those wrap-up spreads do include information on certain books that the videos for them specifically aren't really out yet, and I want it to remain a surprise until those videos are out, which is why I can't show them to you yet. And the last reason is because I will be recording a video at the very end of the year which has like almost like a flip through of my entire journal, and this will be in December, so that once you guys are sitting down for inspiration for your journals for next year or whatever, hopefully you guys can come look at that. And so I do want some original content to be left for that specifically as well, and so you will see my final journal tour at the very end of the year or whatever. I will sit down and explain every spread in a specific video, but until then it was fun catching up on journal spreads coming with y'all, and so that's all I wanted to say. Basically you'll see them soon, and until then that's it for this video. We've finally reached the end of it, and it's been a long time coming that we have. So hopefully you guys had a fun time coming along with me in this long ass video, and here we are. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them. And now that we've reached the end of the vlog, I'm just gonna cut it short because it's been going for so long. So thank you guys for watching it. I'll see you all hopefully very soon in my next week's video, and until then, stay safe, take care, and that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.